What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. We've got a bit of breaking news coming out of the Johnny and Amber trial just moments ago. Amber took, I'm not like, a lot of people are really sensationalizing things, and maybe I'm guilty of that at times too. But this was she was expected to get rejected, but in the fashion in which she was rejected by the judge was an absolute chef kiss. Now her first witness has taken the stand, and it's already not going great. On top of a week straight of negative headlines, she's looking desperately to get some believable headlines out there about Johnny. And without it, I've said this before, she's already lost in the court of public opinion. She may very well lose this $50 million lawsuit. She's going to possibly get removed from Hollywood altogether, which is exactly why she probably needs to learn a new skill. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Skillshare. Are you considering working on yourself a little bit, getting a new skill, or sharpening an existing one you have? Looking at maybe some self-improvement, some time away from endlessly watching streaming shows? Well, meet Skillshare. It's an online community with thousands of online classes and members across 150 countries. Do you have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Skillshare is the perfect place to start, from photography and illustration to graphic design, freelancing, and more. You can find classes that will match your goals and interests. Your day-to-day is filled with tasks and endless to-do lists. Prioritize your self-care and wellness by using Skillshare as a way to invest in yourself, unwind, and relax. Skillshare has tons of benefits. It's ad-free, so you can stay in the zone while you're exploring new skills. There are new premium classes launched every week, so there's always something to discover. And the entire catalog is now available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. So get working on yourself. Turn off that TV, turn off those video games for a little while. And look, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description or in the pinned comment and use the code TheQuartering will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. You've got nothing to lose. Use the link in the description and pinned comment below and get working on yourself. Now, not to bury it, judge rejects Amber's motion to toss out Johnny's defamation case. The judge presiding over Johnny's $50 million defamation lawsuit rejected Amber's motion to toss out the case. Penny Azcarda said the sufficient evidence had been presented by Johnny's lawyers to keep the case going. This is huge in that the jury hears this, right? In a way, I think this provides a lot of legitimacy. And it's like doubling down. It's like, hey, jury, the judge thinks that there's definitely enough going on here that we should hear this out. Maybe, I don't know. You know why I'm afraid to be optimistic? I just gotta be honest with you. It's because it never looked good for Johnny in this, because he had, had some, incidents. He's got, publicly, he has kind of that rock star Hollywood mentality, which is, doesn't, I don't think, really relate with the type of people that are probably sitting on that jury. If you live in Hollywood or you're a multimillionaire, you're probably like, oh yeah, I pass out with a bowl of ice cream all over. Well, I suppose that's more something we can all kind of relate to, but this kind of stuff all the time, or whatever the case may be. But, hearing, hey, they spend $10,000 a day on wine, I feel like you lose a lot of the sympathy. Now, Amber's motion to strike is almost a formality after plaintiffs wrap up their case, and it was expected that the judge would reject such an effort. Attorneys for both sides presented oral arguments on the motion on Tuesday morning without the jury present. For Amber's legal team, the motion's primary point was to assure certain appeal rights to the defense if necessary. Now, if she loses, she of course will appeal. This will go on forever. Although Johnny was not named in the op-ed, his attorneys have argued, and I believe sufficiently so, that there was enough of a connection to Amber's claims that he raised his hands to her. The judge noted that, quote, if there is a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives the motion to strike. She said that there was evidence that jurors could weigh, that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the defendants were published, statements were published, that and that the statements was false, and that the defendant made the statement knowing it to be false, or that the defendant made it so recklessly as to amount to a willful disregard of truth. Let me read that again. If there is a scintilla of evidence, this is a quote from the judge, that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives the motion to strike. She said that there was evidence that jurors could weigh in the statements way that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the statements were published, and the statement was false, and that the defendant made the statement knowing it to be false, or the defendant made it so recklessly as to amount to willful disregard of the truth. The weight of that evidence is up to the fact finders, essentially saying, look, there's absolutely some, proof here or evidence here worth considering that you did defame him and that you did, ruin his career, so to speak. And that's what this has been all about. The big kind of, this big hurdle to climb over in terms of defamation is proving damages, which I think he did yesterday. And then there's the proving that it was an intentional thing, which I think he's also doing a good job proving. She said that she would not rule on whether a defamation claim should survive regarding one of Amber's tweets. Her team had no comment after the ruling. Earlier in the morning, Michael Spindler, an economic damages expert, testified that Johnny suffered lost earnings of approximately $40 million over almost 2-year period alone following the publication of the op-ed. That includes a $20.3 million after the agency commissions from the loss of playing Jack Sparrow in Pirates 6, as well as $20.1 million from books and non-franchise films. Under questioning from Amber's attorney, Spindler acknowledged that he was not offering testimony on whether the loss of earnings were caused by the op-ed. So essentially saying, yeah, well, he lost this money, but I can't correlate the two. I don't think, it would have been nice if he could, but that wasn't his job at that time, I don't believe. His job at that time was simply to say hey, the amount of $50 million that he's suing for is legitimate. And I think that he proved that. Now, her personal nurse did testify that she was addicted to things. She was angry, emotional, and a liability, and deeply jealous of Johnny's fame. And his team rests his case. Ends with an absolute banger. Amber's personal nurse took the stand on Tuesday as Johnny's team rested its case. The court heard from Aaron Filati, also known as Aaron Borum, the former nurse of Amber, who appeared by video deposition. Under questioning from one of Johnny's lawyers, she walked through her notes of her treatment of Amber, starting with their first meeting back in August 2014. The notes state that Amber's reports a history of substance use, including being addicted to the powder and the booze. Amber does not smoke, but she drinks 1 to 3 glasses of red wine a day. The note says, familial history of substances, both mother and father became dependent. Client admits to a history of anxiety, eating disorder, attention deficit disorder, bipolar, codependence, and occasional insomnia. Client identifies as bi and was married to a female partner. The notes add that Amber had been experiencing increasing agitation recently and had several outbursts of anger and rage. Her mood has been labile. That's a weird, I don't hear that word. Oh, okay, good, because I was asked what labile meant. Filati said emotional liability is when emotions spin on a pendulum. You see someone sad and they quickly transition to extreme happiness. It's a pendulum. The nurse also told the court that she recalled Amber acting like this during the time when she treated her. In another remark from the notes, client expressed concern to husband and doctor. She is nervous of being alone while the husband is working. and expressed she has difficulty dealing with feelings of insecurity and jealousy when she's not in the presence of her husband. These could be normal woman things. I mean, I don't want to be like, you know, the anger and the aggression stuff is what I'm mostly interested in. I'm not interested in, you know, her having insecurities in general, because that's, again, I know that people like, people are enjoying the dragging her, and people get mad at me in the comments. Look, I read the comments and people are saying, stop saying Johnny, you know, was, you know, also did some bad stuff. Well, he has done some bad stuff, but just not what she said. Well, I mean, she outlined some of it, but the important thing, like, he wouldn't have lost his job if it was like, oh, Johnny's a drinker. He wouldn't have lost his job if he's like, oh, Johnny likes the powder. He lost his job because it was reasonably believed that he raised his hands to her. He told the court a general sense of jealousy and anxiety issues coping over the years. She had become frustrated with the wait staff over miscommunication. You know, that she calmly repeated herself, which, you know, so then there's these images of redness that were sent. On a note, March 25th, she wrote that Amber was concerned about her ability to trust her fiance following an argument 2 days earlier. She told the court that she had generalized memory of there being jealousy and anxiety between them. Again, what I need to know, so another note from December 2015 revealed an observation about some sort of incident. The note states that there was a visible bright red at the center of the lip, and it was that there was a bloody lip. The medical note stated Amber said it was from an injury sustained in an argument between her and her husband. States her head is bruised and clumps of hair were missing. Now, this is just her words. That doesn't look good, but this is only what she said. It's not what you say, it's what you can prove. I don't know if she's going to have more people who can convince the jury that it actually happened, but as of right now, has not proved a thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.